Hello and welcome to Matt Loves Eurovision. It's my Eurovision 2025 Top 37 countdown. Place number 22, Montenegro, Nina Žižić, Dobrodošli. Please do click on the subscribe button, ring that notification bell and like, share and comment below. Now, the top placed former Yugoslav country in my countdown this year is a returning country, Montenegro, after an absence of 2 years from the contest. They make a return with an artist who is herself a returning artist to Eurovision, although she was not initially the entry that was meant to be going this year. There was something of a brouhaha after the national final, and ultimately the artist that won the national selection withdrew. In the terms of the circumstances, you can look back at one of my video updates of kind of the national final updates on what went on there. Ultimately, the second place artist was sent to Eurovision, and that, of course, was Nina Žižić. So what can she do on both her and her country's return to the contest in Basel? Now, she's a Montenegrin singer and who's represented her country before. That was back in 2013 in Malmö. And while she did appear on stage and she made quite the dramatic entrance, she was not credited. She provided vocals, or some vocals, for the band Who See in their entry Igranka. Now, that song failed to qualify, though it did finish 12th in the semi-final, and that is actually Montenegro's 4th best result that they have had so far in the contest. Now, with the return to the contest of Montenegro this year, they also revived their national final, their Montisong 2024, because it was the first of the national finals to be held all the way back at the end of November. Now, Nina entered, or was persuaded to enter, and she scored, I think, first with the jury and a bit lower with the televote, but she finished second overall, 1 point behind the overall winners. Now, of course, those overall winners then went on to withdraw, and so instead of the song Clickbait, we got Dobrodošli. Now, Dobrodošli is, for the most part, I would say a fairly standard Balkan ballad, but the revamp that it has had some weeks ago has given it a lot more sort of oomph and power. And the final effect, I think, is of a kind of a Balkan ballad meets a James Bond theme. And I'm sure that some, or perhaps much, of that credit will go to the producer, Darko Dimitrov. Now, that name should ring a bell for those of you who know your Eurovision in detail. He, as well as being kind of a really big in the Balkan music industry, he's produced 14 Eurovision entries with writing credits on 10 of those. Now, the revamp this got was probably, in my view, the most significant and successful, at least in terms of where I placed this in my countdown, of all the entries this year. Her vocal on the original song was excellent, but I would say there probably wasn't an awful lot to make it sort of stand out from many, many Balkan ballads that we've heard over the years at the contest. Now, though, I think it's got sort of added drama, it's got more production, better instrumentation as well, which really gives it that sort of grand sort of Bond theme feel. And if it hasn't been obvious to you before, I do enjoy a big sweeping Bond theme. Now, can any of this help Montenegro qualify on their return? Now, it's got to be said, they have one of the worst qualification records of any country in Eurovision. They've only had 2 qualifications, which was back in 2014 and 2015, out of 12 appearances. And since those 2 qualifications, they have not even come close to qualifying. So in their semi-finals, they've had a 13th place, 3 16th places, and then a 17th place. And those are actually in chronological order, so it has just got worse as the time has gone on. I really wish I had some good news for Nina, but she's also been given the running order from hell. She'd already been drawn, Montenegro had already been drawn in the first half of their semi-final. But they've been given the running order slot, which has the worst qualification rate of all. It's the dreaded second place spot. Now, in the scoreboard app, this did notably improve after the revamp was launched, but it's still sitting in the lower places of the scoreboard. And as for the betting odds, in terms of the betting odds to qualify from the semi, it's sitting in the no chance category at the moment. Now, I don't say all of this to be unkind, but just to be kind of honest and realistic. I'd enjoy seeing this in the final, as I think she's a very good singer, and I enjoy the song. I think it's, I would like to see it there. But given the lack of resources that the Montenegrin delegation has, don't expect much in the way of staging, and their lack of experience in getting their entries to the final, the extra challenge of the running order on top of all of this just becomes, I think, too much to overcome. But will it be remembered when that semi-final voting opens? And given that this song only came fourth in the public vote in its home country of Montenegro, are people across Europe going to be voting for this? I wish it all the best of luck, but let's see. Of course, you can read this post on my website, www.mattloveseurovision.com. Do let me know what you think. Chances are, how do you feel about it? And join me again soon as we close in on the top 20 in the countdown. Take care.